What's going on, guys? This is Jason of Auglitical. I swim through politics so you don't drown too. I am just a man trying to bring common sense in a world where common sense isn't so common. One of the things that always happens, and it's kind of shocking, but it's not surprising, is I cover a wide range of different subjects on this channel. I cover rampant feminism that is destroying society. I cover things about people coming into this country and destroying this country with no intentions of assimilating into this country. I cover relationships. I cover politics. I cover a lot of things. Sometimes I even cover stuff that's just lighthearted to be silly. But one of the things that's so disgusting to me is I will cover something which is just a common sense kind of thing, and I won't even bring up the race of people because, to be honest, I don't look at race as evil or good because evil can come in all shapes and forms and colors. But the mindset, I don't hate people, I hate the mindset. I don't hate women, I hate the low quality ones with the low quality mindset. I don't hate anything or any group of people. I base everybody based on the individual. But the thing that's so crazy to me is every single time I cover stories that involve these individuals, they always come to defend their shit. Even though it's indefensible, they'll try to defend it and sit there and claim that their way of life is so much better and they're so righteous. But they're never the ones sitting there shutting that shit down when they're doing terrible things. Anyway, let's get into the video. Tennessee man charged for allegedly raping unconscious woman outside a church before she died. Let's get a good look at this individual. All right. Nashville police charged a man with 4 counts of rape after witnesses say they saw him assaulting an unconscious woman outside a church on Thursday. Officers with the Metro Nashville Police Department rushed the woman to an area hospital soon after the incident, but she died after arriving. Police identified suspect as 39-year-old Mohammed. Now, I'm going to just sit here and say it like this. If any individual is getting mentally boomed by some motherfucker with the name Mohammed, Ahmed, or whatever combination of Ahmed or whatever the fuck it is, we have a serious problem. We have a very serious problem. And I've seen this multiple times. They'll sit there and they'll try to gaslight individuals, but we know what it is. We know what it is. And I'm going to just sit here and say it again. It's not the people, it's the mindset. And if your name is fucking Mohammed or Ahmed or whatever the fuck like it, I'ma just assume straight off the rip that where you're coming from is not a well balanced background whatsoever. That's all I'm gonna sit here and say about that on that subject. If your name is one of the two or a combination of those fucking words or those letters, you know what it is. A Nashville Fire Department crew traveling in Nolensville Pike just after 9:30 p.m. en route to a call saw the sexual assault taking place on a sidewalk in front of a church because of course it would. You know, I still think about the time I cursed in front of a church and somebody pointed it out to me, you don't do that. And I still remember that to this day as being something, even though I'm not a religious person, I kind of hate that I cursed in front of a church as a child. The fact of the matter that this individual raped this woman to death, raped to death. At least that's the what a lot of titles are saying, that this woman was raped to death in front of a church says so much. It says so fucking much to me. They don't give a shit about where they're coming. They're going to do what they do as they construct their own places of worship. Fuck you. Mind you, they'll sit there and they'll claim when they don't have the numbers, oh, just respect our religion. Once they start getting more numbers, then they'll start demanding shit. Then they'll start trying to take up space. Once they get the numbers, they're no longer just sitting there trying to demand. Now they're enforcing. I sit here and I strictly say, I don't believe these individuals should be able to erect any buildings of worship in the United States or any other places that are not predominantly where they are. And we're talking about the places where they are that wasn't predominantly or wasn't dominated by their religion, their ideology, but they killed and murdered or whatever the fuck that they did and took over those places. Because let's be real, you had a lot of these places that are now dominated by Islam, but those lands didn't start off under Islam the way that it was, and it wasn't slowly changed; it was forcefully changed. And to sit there and act and pretend, right, that no one can see this happening is foolish. So it has to be by design. I'm going to repeat this. A Nashville Fire Department crew traveling in Nolensville Pike just after 9:30 p.m. en route to a call saw the sexual assault taking place on a sidewalk in front of the church. They turned around and chirped their siren. The MNPD said in a statement, as they pulled up to the sidewalk, Mohammed was attempting to pull up the unconscious victim's pants. The fire crew detained Mohammed, called for police, and rendered aid to the woman, the statement continued. Surveillance video shows the victim by herself walking unsteady towards the front steps of the church. She was unable to keep her balance and sat down on a step, appearing to be under the influence of some type of substance. Mohammed approached and sat down beside her. He probably gave her a substance or some bullshit. This is why it's so crazy to me because I just did a video where they're giving individuals drugs to shoot up in New York City. They're giving junkies drugs so that they don't overdose, they claim. And the thing is, you got these individuals having sex soon as they get high, they're fucking in public, right? This is why we don't give people with bad behaviors or just degenerates this type of these type of tools because you're just making the situation worse. An individual like this should not even be in public. But here's the deal, and this is what I always said. These individuals who sit here and act like this, or whenever you have one of these activist judges that'll go light on the sentencing and say some shit like, oh, Mohammed has been in the country for over 20 years and he's had a bad background and he still hasn't adjusted to where he is now. It's bullshit. He knew damn well what he was doing was wrong. That's why he tried to pull up this woman's pants to not get in trouble. A lot of mentally ill individuals, I don't even think this person's mentally ill, but a lot of mentally ill individuals, you may not be able to explain it with words that they understand it, but if they see, oh shit, I'm gonna get in trouble, this is bad, they won't do the shit that they do. A perfect example of this being on the train in the city, seeing an individual act like a fucking ass, police get on the train station, get on the train with them, he stops acting fucking crazy. Because something in that fucking brain of his, those cogs, them dusty ass cogs that are barely spinning, understands, oh shit, I can't do this. I'll get stopped. Muhammad made physical contact with the victim as she went in and out of consciousness as she tried to push him away. He ultimately lifted her off of the steps, put her on the ground, and repeatedly sexually assaulted her, the statement added. Police say Mohammed refused to be interviewed after being taken into custody. His bond, first and foremost, I'm going to just sit here and say it like this. How is it alleged if there's surveillance video shows him doing the shit to her? This is the problem with a lot of these news outlets, is that they're supposed to be stating the facts. You can put opinion in it, as long as you state it's an opinion. But how is it alleged if there's proof of it happening? Allegedly? This is the thing that kind of bothers me with these kind of reporting, is because they purposely leave out certain details and it makes everything worse because it's like who did what? What's how old was the woman? What was the woman's, you know what I'm saying? How old was this woman? Was she a mother or whatever like this? There's no information. This happened on the 16th. It's already the 20th, right? The 19th. We still got no fucking information. As of Friday, the medical examiner is still awaiting the results of toxicology testing in order to determine the victim's cause of death. Police have identified the victim of the 34-year-old woman. Okay, so she's 34. Police have identified the victim as a 34-year-old woman who they believe was homeless. Her name has not yet been made public, as a police chaplain was still trying to find and notify her family. It's a goddamn shame. It's a goddamn shame, and this shit should not be happening. Especially should not be happening on American soil. Take it as you will from me on that one. Anyway, guys, leave it in the comments, and I'll catch you guys next time. Motherfucker named Mohammed. You rip man. All right. Anyway, catch you guys next time. Peace.